In the late 19th century, the British stage functioned primarily as a polite retreat. The theater was a venue for tidy melodramas and romantic escapes, tailored for the superficial amusement of high society. George Bernard Shaw arrived in London as a young, lean, bearded Irishman determined to leave his mark on this culture. He did not begin his career as a playwright, but as a fierce music and theater critic and a passionate socialist. His political convictions provided the lens through which he viewed the world. Shaw viewed the stage not as a place for escape, but as an opportunity to force society to examine its own reality. He believed the theater must provide a direct, unblinking examination of society's flaws. This presented a problem. How does a playwright deliver heavy political critiques to an audience that only wants to be entertained? Shaw realized that to survive in the theater, he could not simply preach. He had to find a way to dismantle the audience's expectations from within. Shaw abandoned the format of the grim tragedy and turned instead to comedy. He understood that if you make an audience laugh, you lower their guard. Laughter acts as a lubricant, allowing uncomfortable truths to slip past their ideological defenses. This strategy led to his structural invention for the stage, known as the drama of ideas. He replaced traditional theatrical plots with extended, dazzling debates, where characters served as vivid mouthpieces for opposing viewpoints. By focusing on argument over action, Shaw transformed the stage into a thrilling intellectual battleground. Shaw used this technique to systematically target the most comforting myths of his era. In Arms and the Man, he targeted the romanticization of war, stripping away military glory to reveal the mundane, practical realities of survival. In Mrs. Warren's Profession, he launched an assault on capitalistic hypocrisy. The play argued that the true sin of prostitution lay within a capitalistic system that left desperate women with no other viable economic choices. In St. Joan, he reframed the traditional narrative of a tragic martyr. He portrayed Joan of Arc as a dangerous, revolutionary individualist who threatened the stability of both church and state. These works functioned as targeted intellectual demolition jobs aimed at the foundational pillars of Victorian society. His examination of identity reached its peak with Pygmalion. The play documents a social experiment, the artificial transformation of a flower girl, Eliza Doolittle, into a high society lady. Shaw used the narrative to argue that the core humanity of a flower girl and a duchess are indistinguishable. The play identifies social class as an artificial construct, dictated by speech patterns and clothing. By isolating phonetics as the primary barrier between social ranks, Shaw suggested that the entire British class structure was a performance that could be learned. Behind these works was the meticulously crafted public persona of GBS. He was a master of self-promotion, a teetotaler, and a strict vegetarian who used his eccentricities to maintain a public platform. He was an obsessive worker who wrote his masterpieces inside a tiny garden shed, which he physically turned to follow the sunlight throughout the day. Shaw possessed a rare ability to bridge the worlds of high art and popular culture. This cultural dominance is reflected in his Nobel Prize in Literature and his Academy Award. He remains the only person in history to win both. The persona of GBS was his most successful invention, a character designed to force the world to keep listening to his ideas. Shaw's 60-year career left a permanent mark on the theater, shifting the stage away from simple amusement towards serious social inquiry. He proved that ideas can be thrilling, that intellectual debate is theatrical, and that the stage is a powerful engine for change. This was brought to you by Stalls or Circle. Thank you for listening.